Hey Toy Addicts, this is Jody, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about the differences between a Cabbage Patch or Little People soft sculpture doll and a mass-produced Cabbage Patch doll. This one is made by Coleco in the 80s. Now they still make Cabbage Patch dolls now, but this is the one that's most well known. So this is the one we're going to talk about today. So this girl here from the line called The Little People, she's actually made in 1978. So she actually came out before Cabbage Patch dolls. So this was Xavier Roberts' first incarnation of dolls that he made. Now there's a lot of controversy about where the idea of this doll came from and the cabbage babies that another person already was making. And you can check out, there's videos on YouTube all about that, documentaries and everything, but we're not going to really go into that. Today we're assuming this is Xavier Roberts' idea, and so we're sticking with that. So this girl here was made in 1978. This boy here, now I'm not sure what year he is, but Coleco, which is the one that first mass-produced Cabbage Patch dolls, started mass-producing them in 1983. And so for these purposes, we're going to say 70s, 83. Now, these soft sculpture dolls did later become called Cabbage Patch dolls. And that was even before these were mass produced. And this was the original idea for this. This was licensed to Coleco, and this is what they came up with, was this mass-produced Cabbage Patch doll. So some of the main differences you can tell here obviously is the size. These soft sculpture dolls are much larger. The face on the soft sculpture doll is made out of the same fabric as the arms and the legs and everything. And then, of course, the Coleco dolls, the faces are a hard plastic. So those are kind of your major differences, the size, and then the head basically is molded here where it's hand done here. So these dolls, the soft sculpture Cabbage Patch or Little People dolls, are still handmade in Georgia and sold through Babyland General Hospital that's in Georgia. And there are some interesting videos. I will link one below on the little routine that they do. It's interesting. They're in the hundreds of dollars because they are handmade. And you can tell when you look up close at her that her eyes are hand painted, and then she's got little drawn on freckles, and her face mold and everything, it is very similar. So I think they did a pretty good job. Now these dolls, some of these dolls have actual hand signatures from Xavier Roberts. They both have the butt signatures, and they should both have tags on them. So if you find a doll that you believe to be a soft sculpture, but it doesn't have the Xavier Roberts signature on the butt and it doesn't have a tag, it's probably homemade. They did sell patterns and fabric and all of that, so you could make your own. So if it doesn't quite look right, or even if it's really good, because I have seen some really good homemade ones, if it doesn't have those tags and it doesn't have that butt signature, it's probably a homemade doll. And I can show you, that's the signature for, this one says 84. That's the signature for the Coleco dolls. So some people do kind of sometimes get confused about regular dolls. If they're Cabbage Patch, they're always going to have that butt signature that is Xavier Roberts, and then a tag. But even if the tag is missing, that signature should be there. And the construction is very similar. You know, you can see the hands here. You can't see her feet, but her feet are constructed very similar to his. Everything looks pretty similar. It's just the scale is much larger, which also means that if you find clothing that's made for soft sculpture dolls, you have to make sure and mention that in the listing that you do if you're listing them on eBay, because the clothing for these dolls does not fit these dolls. It's much too large. And I can tell you from experience that people get pretty upset if you don't mention, or even if you do and they didn't read it. So just make sure and mention soft sculpture in the title if you have clothes that fit soft sculpture dolls. Now this doll here is wearing a real baby dress, and a lot of the soft sculpture dolls, especially the early ones from the 70s and the early 80s, have clothing that's they just use baby clothes. And they're about 6 to 9 months in size, I believe, although this one looks kind of bigger. But baby clothes and baby booties were very common to use. You would also see, and I don't have any right now to show you, but maybe I'll show you some pictures here because I know that Courtney from Bolo Buddies just had some listed. So I can maybe show you a couple of her pictures. But they do have a line of clothes that you could buy for these. Some of them came with them, but mostly I think you bought the clothes. That's called Cabbage Patch Signature Series, and those clothes are for the soft sculpture dolls, and they are, you know, visibly larger than the regular Cabbage Patch doll clothes. And those should also sell for more on eBay if you make sure and list soft sculpture in the name. Okay guys, I have another video talking all kinds of things about soft sculpture dolls, and I'll link it up here in the corner, and I'll try to remember to link it down in the description. I always forget to do that. But that should give you a little more insight on these soft sculpture dolls. This gal just sold on auction for $102.50. So they do have some value to collectors. That's a little bit higher than, say, this guy that I've had listed for a long time for $10. And she is, it's kind of hard to tell here on the video, but she's kind of dirty. Her face is kind of dirty and stuff, and so she's not in the best condition. I probably would have asked, you know, started the listing it a bit more for her had she been in a little nicer condition. But she's a little dirty and a little worse for wear. But her hair is so full and fluffy. And that's another kind of soft sculpture signature, is that they have this, like, a lot of hair. I've had a couple of these, and their hair is just an absolute mane compared to how a Coleco doll is. Anyway, hope you learned something from this information. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Bye. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at Jody Toy-Addict. Check out my eBay store in the listings down below, or in the descriptions down below. And thanks for watching.